What's up, ADBLers? It's Archie, Rockies owner from ADBL, of course. Hopefully, this is going to be the first of many weekly updates for the ADBL. Looking at what's going on in the league, trying to figure out just what's going on in baseball. Hopefully, just add another fun element to the league and give us something to enjoy as a league. I don't really have a purpose or a structure for this first week. Just kind of look at some of the things that went on during the off season. Talk about a bunch of the free agent signings, maybe who's looking good for this year, who's got some work to put in on the team, and those sorts of things. Looking back at this year's free agency, this wasn't a very good class. Looking at the names just off the top of my head, Dan Heron, not much here in the way of top tier talent. I mean, Carlos Pena went for $7 million, one of the higher signings out of the whole league. I mean, just not much there in terms of talent. For free agent signings this year, Joe Nathan, Giants picked him back up after he coming off the injury. Hopefully that'll be a little bargain for him. So yeah, I mean, there weren't very many bidding wars that went on up until here in February, where people realized that Derek Lowe was still available, and went a little crazy for him for a day or two there. I mean, other than that, there really wasn't much of a bang in this year's free agency. Next year will be a little more exciting, I think, than 2012 is going to be a class that really shakes up the balance in this league. Lots of pitchers, lots of good talent. Just because 2008 was the first year, and a lot of the top players got those 4-year contracts, so you have a lot of players coming up in 2012. They're going to be really good talent. Had some international free agent signings. Trying to think back to some of those. Not a ton of big name guys out there this year. One guy that the Dodgers picked up, who's going to really good looking kid, Ariel Avando, from the Astros. Be a good kid to keep your eye on. Probably going to play in the DSL this year, not come stateside, but definitely some big time potential there. And then of course you have the big three pitchers in Herrera, Matias, who's going to Martinez now, and then Cardona. Herrera went to the Giants for 12 or 15 million, I don't remember exactly, but a big number there. I picked up Carlos Martinez for what I thought was a pretty good bargain, like 4.9 or so, and then Reds got Cardona. So I mean, those were the big three, and then Esteban Peguera, the shortstop that the Mariners picked up. Dodgers signed him as well. Dodgers got a really good international free agent class this year. Just kind of looking back over everything. Matt got a good class there with the guys he picked up for Cincy. Then Corey picked up a few of the back-end guys. Odor, who signed with the Rangers. Good little shortstop that Corey got for really cheap. Could turn out to be a good player there. Looking back over some of the trades from the all season, one of the bigger deals that went down was actually a deal me and Yankees set up and pulled off back in January. I sent Chad Billingsley his way, a couple lower end prospects and low second round draft pick, high third round draft pick, something like that, his way to pick up Martin Perez, who's right at 25 to 30 ranked prospect right now, and then also Tyrell Jenkins, who was a really high upside kid from this year's draft, and then a couple nice picks for this coming year's draft, 2011. Then another blockbuster that went down, kind of surprised a lot of people actually. was the deal where Matt picked up Evan Longoria. Looks like an absolute steal. Picked up Longoria and Drew Storen for Scott Rowland, a guy, Japanese guy who the A's picked up his claim, but he never actually even signed. So they're gonna have to wait until next year. The Rays is gonna have to wait till next year, that is, to kind of see what he's gonna get out of that. And Zach McAllister, who's a okay pitching prospect, but probably gonna end up being a bullpen piece in the end. Trying to think about a few other deals. Big deal between Philly and San Francisco. There's another deal with some big name players going back and forth in that. I think Philly ended up sending Derek Lee and Brandon Belt, also Randy Wills, back over to San Francisco for Morneau and Baker. For Philly, if Morneau is healthy, that's going to be a really nice pickup, an upgrade over Lee. But San Francisco did get Belt, who's, he's a Giants guy. So that'll be a big pickup. He should be up in Posey style around June or so. I doubt he makes it out of camp, but that'll be a nice little pickup there for the Giants on the trade front. I'm trying to think back over a few more there in November and December. Oh yeah, another big one that went down between the D-backs and the White Sox. Jason was able to pick up Francisco Liriano. Real nice deal. Gave up Justin Upton, but Upton's got a $25 million contract. That's a quarter of our budgets that we have in here. So that's a load to take on for Diamondbacks. But he was able to do so. Pick up a nice pitcher in Gavin Floyd, somebody who's pretty underrated and really cheap contract. So that'll help out D-backs a good bit. Taking that drop from Liriano. D-backs also able to pick up a second round draft pick and a little bit of cash to help out with that deal. So some decent trades that went down, nothing too blockbuster, but a few big names going back and forth there in the off-season trading. Looking forward to this year though. That's what we're all excited about. I know we've got a few teams that are kind of top tier teams, at least on paper, going into this season. Cincy's probably the best looking team on paper right now. Just so much talent there. Just top to bottom down the lineup. Carlos Santana should be back, really healthy at catcher. Votto, Phillips, Longoria in the infield. Outfield's a little weak, but with that much offense coming from the infield positions, the outfield can be weak. The pitching staff, is just really, really good. Verlander and Liscombe up top, and then a couple number 2s and number 3s there to fill in after that. It's just a really tough team that's going to be tough for everybody to compete with this year. Looking at our poll from ESPN, y'all actually put me in second place for favorite to repeat, or favorite to win the ADBL championship this year. My team looks good right now. I wouldn't necessarily think that I've got the top talent in the league. I've got a lot of projection that, if everything comes together, could definitely be there. My pitching staff has got one bona fide ace and 3 guys who could get there this year, a couple guys who have really nice upside. Somebody I'm picked up in the offseason via free agency that I hope's really going to bounce back is Jeff Francis, pitching there in Kansas City now. Giants got a vote. He's got a nice little team. They'll be able to compete definitely with Posey leading the way at catcher, and then just a bunch of guys. No super studs in any category per se. Just a lot of 4 or 5 category contributors there for his team on offense, and then pitching staff's solid again. Sabathia, Sanchez, Dallas Braden, Carlos Zambrano, who I really think is going to bounce back big time this year. A really underrated kid up in Minnesota, Brian Duensing. He's got a good bit of upside left, some talent. Another team to watch out for out of the AL is going to be Detroit. Made it to the championship game last year. has a ton of talent. Picked up Martinez from me actually in a trade this offseason. Anytime you got Pujols, your team's going to have at least a solid foundation. And also Hanley, that's the top 2 players in most redraft leagues. That's your top 2 players going in that draft. So 2 of the top 3 or 4 talents in all of baseball sitting there on his team, and that pitching staff is just at the top, very solid. Felix Hernandez, Chris Carpenter, Colby Lewis, who really emerged this year after coming back from Japan, and then Markham and Bailey, 2 guys who do have a good bit of upside. Not gonna tear the world apart, but good ratio numbers. And Bailey does have some projection still left in him. And looking at a few other teams, Atlanta got a vote, but another team that really could do some work this year are the Yankees. The offense is top heavy, but if some of those lower guys like Avila, Adam LaRoche, Adam LaRoche is a guarantee for 20 to 25 home runs a year. You can count on it. Put that in the bank already. But if Vernon Wells can keep up what he did last year, and then Hunter Pence can have a good year, and Jackson cannot regress too much for him in the outfield, that's going to be a solid team with a great pitching staff. Billingsley, Shields, Greinke, Wandy Rodriguez, Phil Hughes, Brian Matthews, and just a good pitching staff there. Team to watch out for. Probably my pick from the AO at least to make it to the championship game with our new restructured playoff format this year. That's what I'm looking at for this year's actual play. Right now we've got the league check-in going, some baseball discussion, some real cool talk about possible expansion, contraction of the league. I definitely think contraction at this point would be bad for the league. There's plenty of opportunities, especially in West Coast markets, to pick up a couple more teams actually and expand to a 32 team league like the NFL has. That even out both the AL and the NL at 16 teams apiece. Some cool stuff going on there. Hopefully in the future I'll be able to get some of you guys on, have a little chat going, hopefully about some prospects, weekly matchups, big trades that go on during the season. Then when it comes close to draft time and even after the draft, be able to talk over the draft with a few people I know. Looking at the draft already this year, I've got my big board set up, constantly adjusting it as games go on, as new scouting reports come available for some of the players in this year's draft. I know after a couple weeks of the college baseball season, there have been a couple really big movers for me up the draft board. I'm obviously not gonna necessarily clue you in on those right now, but maybe we'll have some general discussions about those leading into the draft, just some names to watch and that sort of thing. But looking at the draft order for this year, the Dodgers have 2 of the top 7 picks. Probably going to be Anthony Rendon, the third baseman from Rice, going first overall for him. And then with the 7th pick, he's going to get a nice opportunity to draft one of the college pitchers or high school pitchers, I'm guessing, again. Because after Rendon, it's really pitcher heavy in this year's draft. So probably going to be a pitcher there that he's going to end up being able to take, or maybe a guy like George Springer if he falls that far. But that's probably not likely, just depending on how the spring plays out for him. And looking out past that, Corey's got the number 2 pick. Going to have a chance to draft probably Garrett Cole, 97, 98 mile an hour fastball over there for UCLA, a nice pitcher that'll help him start rebuilding with Harper there and some of the other guys he picked up in last year's draft. But this is going to be an exciting season. I'm looking forward to it. I know you guys are as well. We got a lot of competition this year. It looks like, just looking over rosters, there's no bottom feeders in our league. A lot of competitive teams, and this season is going to be a really exciting one. I'm really looking forward to it. So y'all just give me any feedback y'all want, anything you might want to hear about or talk about in the future. Just let me know, and we'll take care. See y'all guys later. Bye.